Hello, Wicked Edge Expert Corner Group. This is Mark. You can follow us on Facebook or subscribe on YouTube. We're talking digital cubes. Why digital cubes? Well, we're talking micro adjusters. When we want to work between the angles on a wicked edge, we start working with a cube to give us our reference for our angle. And then as we got bigger with the wicked edge geometry, with the newer models, we could work more precisely using a cube. Now, how do you know which cube? The tendency that I had, and a lot of us have, is you want to get the best because the best gives us the best reading. Well, the one you want to get is the cube that you're comfortable working with. You work easily, you work quickly, and you count on it. Understand that you're using the cube as your standard, as your reference, and your reference doesn't have to be as precise as my reference. In other words, 15.5 degrees, a half a degree. When you're sharpening with wicked edge, if you get to the point, the stage in your sharpening that you're doing it well, a quarter of a degree setting change doesn't mean anything when the edge is applied well and keenly. The difference won't matter. You won't notice it if it's done well, done correctly, done properly, done well. When we dial it in with the cube and we put that together with an edge that's done well, then you have a basis of comparison, hopefully, to learn how to grow with. You're standardizing the process so you can change things up and make a statement about that. So your cube doesn't have to be super precise to make you a good sharpener, but I sought a cube that was very precise. I work with a USB microscope that's very precise. I like to work with good equipment and use it, and I count on the results and I'm comfortable with them. If you're comfortable with a budget cube, fine. But what you start with and what you end with has to be the same cube. And you want to work with it consistently. That's the key, is using the cube, the reading consistently. What happens is that we think if we're working with an inexpensive cube, well, it's really not any good, so it doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter if I'm sloppy because I'm already using a cheap cube. It doesn't work that well, that way. A inexpensive cube, a cheap cube, will give you the same reading as a more expensive cube, just not to the precision. It'll give you $1. It won't give you your change. The more expensive one gives you your $1 and your change. It shows you how far and how close you are from that degree. This one is 0.01 degree resolution. That means it reads to 100th of a degree. So it gives you a lot of information. Because of the information, how you use it and control it, that's the precision. The precision is there for you to use it. I use this because it digitally tells me how far and how close I am to that number, that angle number I choose to work at. This cube, which is a great cube, only reads to tenths. Now, if I use this cube and dial in that number to get it to be zeroed at the angle I want, 15.0 degrees, and I work diligently with proper attention to detail, that edge is going to be just as sharp as the one that I did with this at 15.00. Should be. This precision is not going to make my edge any sharper. It's going to give me the information to use to apply it to my sharpening to make it better. This shows me how far I'm off. So now I have no excuses. I have the instruments to get me right dead on, and I have the clamp to hold it in the geometry fixed so it's repeatable and consistent. Now the rest is on me. So I had to find a cube that I like to work with. This one, the Wixie, works excellent, but the Wixie cube only has magnets on the bottom. So when you use it, and Wicked Edge may be providing the Wixie cube with their kits. I don't know any longer. I haven't looked. But when you put it on there, because the magnet is on the bottom, you're already turning the cube 90 degrees out. So depending upon the side, one you're adding 90 degrees, one you're subtracting 90 degrees. So if you're looking for 15 degrees, it's 90 minus 15 or 75, or 90 plus 15 would be 105. So with the Wixie cube, because of the way you had to work, and then you have to read the number sideways. And also the illumination screen times out, so it goes dark. So that was the Wixie. But I liked it because it gave you a reading and you could move your stone and put it back on, and it locked back in and gave you a reading, and you could see that locked reading, compare it. Like read it, come off, read it, and you do it 3 times in a row, it locks on the same number, then you pretty much are comfortable that your position is stable. So I like the Wixie, but I didn't like that it timed out. I didn't like that the magnets were on the one side. To get around that, what we did was we set it, what I learned from other sharpeners before me, is to set it on the side and zero it out. So now you have, instead of reading on the side 90 degrees, you have it reading 0 degrees. And then when you put it on your cube, you read the number directly. But then when you go to the other side, you turn it over on the other side and zero it out. A standard or a control is set at the onset, in my opinion and educational background. You zero something out, you start with the stopwatch at 0, and you go forward. If every time we zero it out, then this zeroed reading is not the same as that zeroed reading, but we're allowing it because, to tell you the truth, it's not off enough to argue. But principle-wise, I'm not comfortable with zeroing it out. But practical-wise, it makes perfect sense and it works well, and I recommend that you do it if you're uncomfortable subtracting or adding to 90. Zero it out. When you work with a more expensive cube or a different cube, this is the first cube that I got from Wicked Edge with my Wicked Edge Pro Pack 2 Wicked Edge 120, and it has no illuminations. It does read out to 100th, but if you notice, the hundredths jump in 5 100th increment. This is a plus or minus 0.05 resolution. This one is 0.02 resolution, and you notice it jumps in 0.02. And then my favorite is in 0.01 resolution, that I get to watch the numbers, how my brain works. This one is jumps in 0.05, that 0.02. I like to see the numbers go like that. So I know exactly where I am. So I know exactly how far off I am. So that I can comfortably say to myself that I'm in control of what I'm doing. When I'm off by 5/100ths, I don't feel like I have the control. That's me. If you're okay with that, and there's no reason not to be okay with it, because within 1/4 of a degree, if your sharpening technique is good, you're not going to notice the difference. This is what I do because I want to compare edges and make statements and standardize. I need to work at this level of precision for me. Okay, so this one, back to it, has magnets on all 3 sides. So you can put it wherever you want, but the face doesn't rotate. See, the digits are still on the side. So it's not so easy to see, and there's no illumination. It's very heavy, and it has a battery, and you have to remove the back to change the battery. This is the first one I got. And it worked okay, but when I rested it on a knife, the reading floated, so I was looking for something better. I was looking for another toy to play with. The next one I got was the Wixie, and following down the road, Wicked Edge, I believe, started providing the Wixie with their kits. Then I came across this one, which was off 2/100ths of a degree. Now, what I liked about this brand, and this is important, is that it has magnets on all 5 sides. Magnets around the side, on the back, on all 5 sides. And the reading rotates. And it's illuminated. So it is easy to work with. But it was 0.02. That wasn't precise enough for me when I saw that there was the 0.01. Which is the same thing with all the magnets. So we're looking for magnets on all the sides. I'm looking for magnets on all the sides so that I can use it any orientation I want. Now these cubes, here's an inexpensive one I found. Magnets on all the sides. The digit doesn't roll sideways or flip over. It does flip, okay. But it doesn't flip to the side way. So it'll flip end for end. But it has magnets all around. But I'm not comfortable yet with it. It's okay, and it gives me pretty close within 1/100th or 2, 0.02, 0.03 closeness. They're that close. This one floats a little bit. It's a little more critical than this one. Both of them, this is important. Both of them, when you start getting into these are called inclinometers because they're made to measure angles in more dimensions than the original Wicked Edge. That's only meant to work in 1 dimension. So these, when you set them up, they have a zeroing procedure that you zero it like this and zero it like this and like that and like this and like that, and it's translated from Chinese into English, so it's hard to understand, but we'll get you through it. So this one I found yesterday when I kept turning it on, it always came up to 0.3 of a degree, and I had to zero it out. And today I read the book and I learned that it had the same kind of turn it while you push it to calibrate it. And now it's an inexpensive one. It's about half the price. It's not half as good. It's probably 90%. I'm just not comfortable with it. If I had never used that other one, this one I would probably like just fine. I'm just being hypercritical. I'm used to working with this. So this is the top one is for me, the DXL 360 with an S. This is the 360, no S. This does 0.02. This one does 0.01. I've been using this for years now. I even wore one out that I broke the button. This one I didn't like, my first one, because there was one reading when I was sharpening a knife at 17 degrees. This one was fluttering at 0.02 on one side of the knife, and it bothered me. Every other reading I never saw an inconsistency, but just that one, so I went and got a new one, and the new one didn't have that inconsistency. That's just me. I'm hypercritical. I need to have all that stuff right. So that's why I work with this high level of precision in my instruments and my wicked edge, so that when I say it's 15 degrees, I'm comfortable that it's 15 degrees within about a hundredth or a tenth on either side, 15.1 to 14.9 on my sharpening. So my efforts are being done repeatedly, consistently the same. So over time, as that knife wears, the next time I sharpen it, if I do it the same and everything the same, I can make a change. And then the next time. And with the time and that level of precision, those changes should allow me to draw conclusions. Of course, it's again subjective. It's how I judge that I feel that cutting edge, how it works for me. And I can make judgments about how to make changes in my sharpening craft to make improvements. And I really feel that if you don't work at this level of precision, that it's hard, or, excuse me, if you don't work at some level of standard, work with the cube. Work with the cube that's within a tenth. It doesn't matter. But work with some set of standards you set for yourself. Then you know that each time you're doing it at that standard, your outcomes, then you can start drawing a conclusion. If you do everything different every time if you make the coleslaw different every time you make it, then you never know which one you like. Then you find one you like and you didn't write down how did you make it, then how do you do it again? So that's why we have recipes. That's why we use time clocks. That's why we use digital cubes for the consistency. Thanks.